Hi, boys and girls. We're going to read A Tree is a Plant. And this is our anchor text for Lesson 24 in our Unit 5 California Journeys Grade 1 textbook. Before we read it, I want to show you this card right here. What is it showing us? It's showing us a tree, and it looks like it's covered with leaves. That says tree, leaves. And what kind of tree is this? This is a clue. Is this an apple tree? I think so. So this week in this story behind me, we're going to be talking about how trees are plants and how they grow and how they change with the seasons. So there's lots of different kinds of trees. Just look outside in your neighborhood and you'll see all different kinds. So they change. Some of them stay green, but most of them change. In the spring, they might have little leaves or maybe some blossoms on them. In the fall, all the trees have tons of leaves on them. And did I say fall? That meant in the summer. And in the fall, the leaves change colors. So these leaves will turn into orange or yellow or brown or purple or red leaves. And then the leaves start to fall off the tree, and then it's winter. And in the winter, there are no leaves on the tree. So that's what that picture is about. Let's go ahead and just talk about Clyde Robert Bulla. He's the person who wrote all the words in this book. He didn't draw the pictures. That was Stacy Schuett, and she used to like ride around on her horse, the lady who do these pictures, and his name was Snorky, and she would just observe all the things in nature. And now she remembers how they look. Maybe not that part because no one can really see under the ground because we don't have x-ray vision. And that's what made her such a good artist. But Clyde, he used to be he was the author of this book, and he used to well, he used to live on a farm. And when he was 10 years old, he won a writing contest, an essay contest. He loved to read. He loved to write. He had to do chores, but he got really good at reading and writing, and he won contests. And then he grew up and started making his own books. So I'm really proud of him. This is an informational text. You're going to learn a lot of facts. So I'm going to read it to you today, and then we'll answer a few questions. Okay, listen up. A tree is a plant. Let's see how much you can learn. So here's all these different kinds of trees. We have a maple tree, conifer trees. Those are like Christmas trees, aren't they? Persimmon tree. This is a palm tree. Lemon tree. This is a willow tree. And there's bazillion million other kinds of trees. A tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds, the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them. How many do you know? And I don't know how many you know, the names to. This tree grows in the country. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind it is? Here's a clue. This is an apple tree. This apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. You see them? Have you ever seen an apple seed? I think you have. Ask an adult, that means a person who's already grown up, to help you cut an apple in two. The seeds are in the center. They look like this. The center means the middle part. Most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. Okay, so usually the farmers or ranchers, they plant the seeds. Like they'll dig a little hole and they'll stick the seed in and cover it up with dirt. But some of them just fall on the ground and start growing when they get covered up by leaves or dirt. The wind blows leaves over the seed. You see the seed? And there's the leaves covering it. The wind blows soil over the seed. You see the seed? All winter, the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter, the seed lies under the ice and snow and is pushed into the ground. But now it's spring. Look at it. It's starting to grow. Spring comes. Rain falls. The sun comes out and warms the earth. The seed begins to grow. Oh, look at this baby apple tree. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. The tree is very small. It is only a stem with 2 leaves. It has no apples on it. A tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year, the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. You see these little flowers? Those are called blossoms. Spring is apple blossom time. See the blossoms? The bees are coming over there. They're going to drink their nectar out of them. The blossoms last only a few days. Then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the tree. And among the leaves there are small apples. The apples are where the blossoms were before. Like how did the apples get there? So the little petals fell off. You can sort of see the blossom petals falling off. And like behind, like here's the flower, and like right behind the flower right here, that's where the little green apple is hiding. So the flower falls off, and there's this little part right behind it, and that's the little apple. The apples are green, and they are almost too small for you to see. The apples grow slowly. They grow all during the spring and the summer. Okay. In the fall, they are large and ripe. That means they're ready to eat. They are ready to eat. That's what it said. We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. So this is in the fall. Here's this boy in the fall. He's climbing his apple tree. There's the apples. And they're ready to eat. So he's going to go pick them. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. So let's see. Here's the trunk. And then look how it's branching off into these branches. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. Well, that part we can't see, but if you can close your eyes, and can you imagine seeing a trunk of a tree coming up out of the ground? We can see the bark of the tree. The bark is this rough stuff that's on the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat. But there is a part of the tree that we cannot see. Can you guess what it is? I think it's funny that he said that the bark covers the branches like a coat. So it's like the bark on it keeps it warm like a coat. That's called figurative language. This is the part we cannot see. What is it? Can you look at the clues? Those are called roots. They're the part that's under the ground. We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. So when he said small as hairs, do you think that means that the roots are thick? Or do you think that means that the roots are thin when they're small as hairs? Yes, they're thin. The roots grow like branches under the ground. That's right, they sort of do look like branches under the ground. They're sort of like the shape of the tree above the ground. A tree could not live without roots. Roots hold the trunk into the ground. I'm sorry, that says in the ground. Let's read that again. Roots hold the trunk in the ground. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. Can you imagine if there were no roots? I mean, it wouldn't even stand. I mean, like maybe for a second, but then the wind would blow it over because it wouldn't have anything holding it. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. Oh, look at this interesting picture. There's arrows going up. I'll bet you they're going to say that's the water going up the tree and into the branches and leaves. Roots do something more. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. See them? They're taking them into the trunk. The trunk carries the water to the branches. Here's the trunk. Here are the branches. The water's going up into the branches now. The branches carry the water to the leaves. Okay, that makes sense. Hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from water and air. What? The leaves can make food from all that water they got and the air? They make food when the sun shines. Okay, so they have water. The leaves have some water. They have some air, and they have some sunshine. They can make food with that. The food goes into the branches. Okay, so from the leaves, the food goes into the branches, into this part right here. It goes into the trunk and roots. So now the food that the leaves make are going into the trunk and the roots. So the roots are like, we'll help you out, tree. We'll give you water, but you got to give us food. So then the leaves up there at the top, now that they have their water, they make food from the sun, and then they send it down through the branches and trunk into the leaves, and not leaves, into the roots. And the roots say, thank you. That was a good trade. It goes to every part of the tree. So the food that the leaves make goes to every part of the tree. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. Okay, so can't live forever. I mean, they're still going to be alive. You just can't tell. Now the tree is bare. All winter. It looks dead, but the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. So don't worry. All those dead-looking trees, they'll start to grow again once they get some rain and some warmth. Spring comes again. Rain falls. Look what happened. That tree was bare. Now it has little leaves in the springtime, and now it has a whole bunch of blossoms. The sun warms the earth. The tree blossoms, and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms in the spring, and apples grow on it. Oh, when do you like apple trees best? In spring, when they are covered with blossoms? They're pretty, aren't they? In summer, when they are covered with leaves? It's really hot in the summer, but look at these smart kids. They got in the shade of this apple tree. In winter, when they are bare? Oh, it snows where she lives. Or in fall, when they are covered with apples. I like them when they're covered with apples. Okay, so let's have a look at our questions. It says, why are a tree's roots important? I remember them telling us all the reasons. It says that the roots hold the trunk in the ground, so they hold them there. And it says roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. So basically they just keep them stuck there to the ground. And the roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. So basically that's an important reason. They stay put. But also, remember, they're also important because they bring water to the rest of the tree. They're like straws that send water to the tree. And if it doesn't have water, then the leaves can't make any food because they're too dehydrated. Okay, let's see what else. What's our second question? How do leaves help a tree? I think we just said that. The leaves make food from the water and from the air and from the sun. And then they send it down to the other parts of the tree. They send all the food, the energy, to the other parts of the tree so it can grow. So that's why they're important. That's how they help. What is the order of the seasons? And then how does the apple tree change during the seasons? I think we saw that at the very end, the order of the seasons. Let's see. Well, there's fall, winter, spring. Okay, let's start here. Spring. So that's spring. This is summer. Then it's supposed to be fall. Then it's winter. They had it a little mixed up. So that's the order. We have spring, summer, fall, winter. And how does the apple tree change during the seasons? They showed us. In the spring, it has lots of blossoms. In the summer, it has lots of leaves, and you can't see them, but there's these little green apples on it. In the fall, it has lots of apples, and then the leaves start to, you can see some of the leaves have changed colors and have fallen to the ground. And in the winter, the apple tree looks bare, has no leaves on it. So that's how it's changed. Okay, that was our first read of A Tree is a Plant. And thank you for your attention. This was a long, very rigorous book. Bye-bye.